The Maxfind FF Belt is one of the most interesting electric skateboards I have ridden lately. With its well-designed deck, including a hot swappable battery compartment, carry handle and unique deck material, it's definitely different from anything else on the market. Although Maxfind has been around for a while, they are only now becoming a household name in the e-skate industry. This is largely due to them increasing the quality and performance of their electric skateboards, along with fitting out their e-boards with useful extra features. So let's get straight into my Maxfind FF Belt review. The Maxfind FF Belt is really designed for intermediate to advanced e-skaters. If you've ridden electric skateboards before or you're confident at other board sports, you'll love the performance of this e-board. It's a great all-rounder, capable of tackling uneven roads and even some compact gravel trails. The overall comfort and stability you get from the FF Belt is amazing, which makes this an ideal electric skateboard for commuting. Outside of being your daily driver, it also carves well and has a bit of a snowboard-esque type feel to it. Now, I'm hesitant to recommend the FF Belt to absolute beginners only because the acceleration can be quite strong. But if you're a beginner and like this form factor and design, take a look at the Maxfind FF Street. It's almost the same e-board, except it has hub motors for a smoother and more beginner-friendly acceleration curve. The first thing I noticed when pulling the board out of the box is the deck. It looks like plastic, and it kind of is, but more specifically, it's a polyphenylene sulfide and fiberglass composite, making it a very flexible deck. The grip tape also strays away from your conventional sandpaper option and is instead made of rubber. I was skeptical about this at first and expected it to be slippery, but after I went for a ride, I found it to be just as grippy, if not more so than regular skate grip tape. And the added benefits of this rubber grip tape is that it doesn't scratch up your hands or get caught on your clothes, and it is really easy to clean. The deck houses all of the electronics, so there aren't any additional enclosures underneath, and there is a compartment on the top that allows you to easily access the battery. I'll talk more about the battery later on, but for now I just want to show you this area. When I say it's easy to open and close, I mean all you have to do is turn a little latch and the door comes away. The only issue here is that when the door is closed and the latch is locked, it still isn't airtight, and you can actually see that the door doesn't sit flush with the deck. I mean, it's not the end of the world, just be super careful here about getting water anywhere near this area. It has a drop down and concave deck so your feet sit nicely at the end of the standing platform and you don't move around when you're riding. So you can keep your head up and focused on the road ahead rather than constantly peeking down to make sure your feet haven't moved. It's a small detail that is going to make your ride a lot safer. The nose of the deck has a built-in handle which is comfortable and comes in very handy. However, personally, when I hold the deck up by the handle, the motor guards hit the ground and I can't freely roll the wheels along behind me. I'm 5'11" for reference, and the motors only just touch the ground, so if you're shorter, you're probably not going to run into this problem. For us slightly taller people, the handle is still useful to carry the board upright, even if it is a little bit awkward. The FF Belt is running double kingpin trucks, which are both great and have their slight annoyances. I'll start with what I don't like about them, which is they are a pain in the backside to tighten and loosen the bushings. The board side nut is too close to the top hanger, so a regular skate tool can't get around it. I had to use a shifter to make any adjustments. Not a huge issue if you're going to do all of your config at home. It just means if you want to carry tools around with you when you ride, which I highly recommend by the way, it's another you're going to have to add to your bag. Despite these issues, they ride really well in terms of stability and carving ability. I didn't experience any speed wobbles at high speeds up to the top speed that I tested, more on that later, and the carving was nice and responsive. As I pushed out to carve, they would rebound as expected without any overcorrecting and bring me back to center effortlessly. The stock wheels on the Maxfind FF Belt are 105mm Urban Terrain PU wheels. People say they are a Cloud Wheels clone, however, they're very different. Cloud Wheels have a foam core that absorbs vibrations off the road. These wheels are completely polyurethane, just like street wheels, but they are larger, softer, and have a slight tread. Overall, they still do a great job of absorbing vibrations and make it easier to ride over bumps and cracks. I'd rate their comfort somewhere between regular street wheels and Cloud Wheels. The Maxfine FF belt is geared up with dual 1500 watt belt drive motors and is marketed for a top speed of 28 miles per hour or 45 kilometers an hour, which I had no problem hitting. I actually maxed it out a little bit over that, but not by too much. For the hill climb, it's spec'd for a whopping 35% hill grade, which is just crazy steep. You'll be hard pressed to find many hills this steep. In my tests, I climbed my regular hill and it performed great. The lowest speed it dropped down to was about 15 miles per hour or 25 kilometers an hour at the steepest part of about 14%, but it didn't feel sluggish or that it was struggling. I'm pretty satisfied with its hill climbing ability overall. If it can actually do 35%, I'd be very impressed. It has these bash guards around the motors, which I love, both for its looks and the protection it provides. But if you need to change the belts for any reason, you have to take off the entire bash guard on both sides. You can't just take off one side of the guard. Spec-wise, the Maxfine FF belt is stacked with a 12S 3P 376 watt-hour battery, which is marketed to achieve a range of 25 miles or 40 kilometers. Now that's a pretty decent range, but what I'm most excited about is the ability to easily swap out these batteries. No tools are needed, you just turn a latch and out it comes. This means your range is only limited by the number of batteries you want to carry out in your ride. Perfect for going out on long weekend rides with friends or family. Maxfine opted to go with a Hobbywing ESC in the FF belt, and it's amazing. Not only is the acceleration buttery smooth, but it's also quite strong. In the highest speed mode, you can jet up to your top speed in no time at all, but you really do have to set yourself up and be ready for takeoff, otherwise you're gonna find yourself on the floor pretty quickly. On the flip side, the braking is nice and firm without any jolting. Again, you have to be ready to slow down or you will be thrown forward. It's not unmanageable. Confident and experienced riders will have no trouble with this sort of power. I'm really aiming this at intermediate riders who will need to be a little bit more focused when riding. Even though Maxfine is using the Hobbywing remote, they've created their own unique mold to set themselves apart from the crowd. And I quite like it. It sits comfortably in the hand and helps prevent you from accidentally hitting any buttons. It's got a large display that shows your current speed, trip length, odometer, speed modes and battery levels for the board and the remote. The speed that it shows is fairly accurate. When I compare it with my GPS watch, it was only a couple of kilometers out, which could very likely just be the GPS delay in my watch. It has 4 speed modes, 1, 2, 3, and 4, reverse and cruise control. And you can't accidentally change the speed mode while you're accelerating, which is a safety feature that I love. Maxfine is really starting to find its feet in the e-skate industry. They have released a lot of innovative and well thought out products recently, and the Maxfine FF belt is no exception. I think this is a great electric skateboard for people who want something comfortable and stable to commute on. If this sounds like it's something you're interested in purchasing, then check the description down below for links and codes that help me out a lot and get you a cheeky little discount. Thanks for sticking around. I hope I've helped you on your journey to find the best electric skateboard that's right for you. Ride safe out there, e-skaters, and I'll see you soon.